home, come catch the purple in action with us. Join Eric Nordquist at Gray's Food Hall this Sunday. Kickoff is this afternoon between Minnesota and New York. Food, drinks, and prizes every quarter. Get the details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 pastime comedies tend to be the legendary one. Mark Rosen.
Good afternoon.
Joins us now. 7 stitches in the back of your head.
Yeah. When I last left you, that was yesterday, I told the tall tale. It wasn't a tall tale, it was a real tale about my cat with a tail, Sweet Willow, who didn't want any part of her
Did
carrier.
you put the cat up for adoption?
I did not. I threw her off the roof.
Yeah,
no, I
that's what
did
I
not.
would've done.
I know. No, I live on the 30th floor. That would have been mean.
That's what I would have done.
No, I would not. It was not her fault. It was my fault.
Well, no, I think the cat was Telly Savalas. It was like that. It was just, you were Telly Savalas,
Well,
and that cat was like the doll in one of the best Twilight Zone episodes of all time.
God, that was so good. It was so good. And she was looking at me with that same look that that doll did at Telly Savalas.
Exactly. Then you tripped over the cat. You smashed your head on
Smashed my head on the end table. Blood out
everywhere.
Basically, it looked like a crime scene.
Yeah.
Cleaned myself up. Sucked it up.
Then you went to go see Sheldon.
Went to, ran some errands, and then I didn't know how bad it was. I couldn't see the back of my head, and so I should have had you look at it, but that would have been probably not good. There was a big gash in it. You know, it just had stopped bleeding. So, and I'm on a blood thinner, so I mean, all joking aside, and it isn't a joke, but that's a very dangerous, potentially dangerous situation, especially on your head. And there are plenty of horror stories about that, so I wanted to make sure I didn't have any other symptoms. And Sheldon said, as long as I think I'm relatively coherent. I could still put a sentence together and I could understand what you were saying. To this point. This was yesterday, though. I mean, I was, yes, correct. So I got done here and I tally-hoed over to see Sheldon Burns. And
here you are. You didn't even...
I bit down on a silver bullet and he put 7 stitches in the back of my head.
A lot of people wouldn't even be here today.
Oh, I wouldn't have been here yesterday. They wouldn't have been here yesterday. That's for damn sure. I was literally had a gash in my open gash. I was here.
And you were here today.
I'm here today. And I'm happy about it.
I'd call you
feeling
tough
good.
guy.
I just talked to the coroner's office, and he's having computer problems, so he wasn't happy. So there's always somebody upset about something in this building.
They're not upset down at Grand Casino.
Oh, my.
Arena. Wild win last night, 5-0.
Yeah, I watched that whole game. Man. It was.
I think Wild Fever is gripping the Twin Cities. And this text message came in.
Sure.
Brian, a text on that said, "A sure sign that Wild Fever has hit Minnesota will be when Rosen finally goes to a game, and he buys his own ticket, claims to have bought his own tickets."
I have a media pass.
I always love that one.
I'm still a member of the media, and if anything, I've been grandfathered in. But I'll be going a lot after the first of the year, but I haven't had a chance yet. But I watched.
Well, you've been busy.
I have been busy, and I watched every minute. Actually, I honestly watched. I watched every minute of that game last night.
You did?
I did, and then
You weren't watching the championship of the NBA Cup?
I flipped over. I was just going to say, then I flipped over to Prime and watched the second half of the San Antonio Knicks game, and you could tell. You always talk about it. These guys put forth that effort. You would have sworn it was the finals of the NBA championship. And they kept showing the guys at the end of the bench, especially from the Knicks as they pulled away in the fourth quarter, because those guys earned $500,000 last night.
Losers got $200.
250, whatever it was. Not a bad consolation prize. I know Barkley, among others, are ripping it, saying it's just, it's a money grab.
I agree.
Blah, blah, blah. And it does cheapen it, but you talk about an early Christmas present for those guys at the end of the bench and who have two-way contracts or whatever the case may be, or making minimum, which is still good money, but all of a sudden they get a $500,000 bonus.
Well, Brunson, big Bodega Cat, and several other players could have just wrote a check and handed it over to those guys.
Well, Bodega Cat donated his money to some relief fund somewhere,
Right.
I think. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that
correct.
Yeah,
they could. Of course, they could.
The money's really not that much.
No, but they played harder than you normally. This was just me, and I was caught.
Can they do another tournament then this week, and then the week after that, and the week after that? 'Cause that's the only way you'll get them to play like that.
Yeah, probably. And the Knicks are here next Tuesday night, so I'm looking forward to that.
I saw a headline. Honestly, this is how ridiculous it is. In-form Knicks surge past Spurs to win first trophy since 1973. You can't count that. It is a trophy. It is. There is a trophy. They've not won the NBA championship in 73. But you can't write
Frazier.
that headline with a straight face.
Even the Knicks have said, Common, we're not hanging a banner.
I would hope not.
That'd be embarrassing. NBA Cup winner. I mean, it's a financial windfall for them. If you watch the game, and I did the second half, I said after the Wild game, it was entertaining basketball. I was anxious to see how Wemby was doing, and he was still not playing as much as he's going to, as great as he is. They had that, Stephen Castle, he was the Rookie of the Year last year. He's damn good. That's a good San Antonio team, really good team.
You didn't know who he was until last week when I told you who he was.
I know. He won Rookie of the Year, I think, or something last year. But it was good, but not as entertaining as the Wild game. I mean, that was... And
if you're a Wild fan, it was more entertaining.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Because it was a laugher. It was a 5.
Well, no,
laugher,
it was. But
so the
I guess what I'm saying is that the idea, and our resident hockey guy, I remember watching Vladimir Tarasenko just torch the Wild all the time. And last night, he turned the clock back. He had that Connor McDavid move last night that was just dazzling, setting up a teammate for that goal. That
was a Kaprizov move.
It was.
Kaprizov does the between the legs passes, behind the back pass.
But the Wild are now an NHL best 17-3-2 since November 1st.
We're coming.
And Quinn Hughes is undefeated.
Yeah.
The kid's good. I mean, you can even
We're the state of hockey, and I think that proves it. So
yeah. So it was fun. I mean, it wasn't. Washington didn't provide much of an opposition.
Well,
last
they
night.
beat us the last time around by almost identical score. We had one goal the last time the two teams. It was 5-1 the last time. That was back in October when the Wild were a totally different team. Terrible team, terrible city, terrible fans, terrible stadium. Everything about the Wild was terrible.
It
back
was
in October.
Oh, it was awful.
And now they are obviously one of the best teams in the National Hockey League, at least record-wise, right?
Three of the best are right. Yeah,
that can change, as we know, as seasons have ebbs and flows, they have ups and downs. But as we speak right now, and they're playing without several players that are injured. Other teams are probably in the same situation. I'm not acting as though that the Wild are the only team that have players waylaid with injuries, but they have some injuries to key players. Yet they have two goaltenders. This is that now. Gustafsson started back-to-back games. That's the second time now in about tend to be about a week and a half, 2 weeks, because they were alternating.
Yeah.
It would be the Wall, then it would be Bus. Wall, Bus, Wall, Bus, Wall, Bus. Gus has started a couple of games in a row, and so again, I think it's probably more of a feel and what the coach thinks who's playing well and who isn't that. But everything right now is working extremely well for the Minnesota Wild.
That duo has allowed a league low 39 goals since November 1st. So I mean, they're playing off each other quite well. Doesn't seem to matter who's in there. Their defense.
Look at you boned up on your Wild. You got all these stats. You're boning up on the Wild.
I was locked in last night. It was good. I was recuperating, with the head wound, and best seat in the house on your couch.
Someone says that Wemby had a family member die before the game, and he was kind of out of it. His press conference was emotional.
Yes.
So maybe that's why he wasn't.
Yeah, good point. I think he talked about his grandparent. I don't know if it was a grandma or
that
grandpa.
Probably had a lot to do.
Yeah, and that. Well, they were kind of easing him back in anyway after that calf injury, but. No, he did not play that much last night, but the Spurs are still very, very good team, obviously for lots of reasons. But good point. He answered, I guess, two questions after the game, and then excused himself.
You know who's really good? And I asked you if you would trade Ant for him, and you said no. Cooper Flagg set an NBA record for points by an 18-year-old, best team LeBron James. Associated Press, Dateline. Dallas says Cooper Flagg scored the most points by an 18-year-old in NBA history, but couldn't enjoy the accomplishment because it came in a loss.
Right.
Flagg had 42 points, topping the previous mark of 37 set by LeBron James on December 13th, 2003. Flagg said, obviously we didn't win, so it's tough for me to want to be happier than that. Obviously it's a success. He also twisted his ankle. Flagg also became just the fifth rookie to record 40 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in the last 15 years, as he finished with 7 boards and 6 assists. sky's the limit for this kid. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, too bad they didn't keep their best player. They could have really had a hell of a team.
Absolutely. Well, then they wouldn't have got that pick probably.
No, they probably.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Or it was ping pong balls. So maybe it wouldn't have
it wouldn't have mattered.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with more with Common Man Tenneby and the legendary Mark Rosen right here on The Fan.
Hockey fans, the IIHF World Junior Championship is set to take over the state of hockey, and we've got your tickets to the action all week long. Use the Talkback feature in the iHeartRadio app right now to tell us your favorite Team USA memory from the World Juniors for your shot at a pair of tickets to the Group A game. Get the full details now at KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 past on Common. He's Tenneby, Mark Rosen here as well. It took quite some time, but the Twins finally announced who their minority investors are. Glick Family Investments and George G. Hicks, along with prominent Minnesota business leaders. Also, Craig Leopold, who is the majority owner of the Wild, is joining independently as a limited partner. Hicks and Glick Family Investments are acquiring non-controlling minority stakes in the Twins, while the Pohlad family retains the control of the ownership. Probably to me, I wasn't so concerned about who the minority owners were, but Joe Pohlad's being demoted. The older brother, Tom, is going to take over for Joe. And not only that, he's also going to take over now for Uncle Jim, because Jim has been doing they have to have a liaison between the league and the team. Right. And Jim has continued in that role. He's now giving that up, passing those duties along to Tom. And then Tom is taking over. And again, I don't think they've said why. I think Joe was a little in over his head on that job.
I think he was probably a lot in over his head.
Yeah.
But, there's only so many things he could have accomplished anyway without, parental sort of putting a stamp of approval on payroll, everything else. It'd be interesting to sit down with Craig Leopold to get his take on what's going on and why. Number one, why he's doing this, and because basically what you're doing is helping pay down the Pohlad debt that they have with the team. But I'm wondering if deep down he's also, because there's a big labor situation coming up in Major League Baseball, and there's a lot of teams that are anxious to get a salary cap. We've been down this road before to have a true salary cap, as we see the Dodgers once again just reloading and adding more bodies to their World Series championship team. That they will after this year. There's a lot of talk already about having a lockout, et cetera, et cetera. But, I think it goes both ways. It's not just a matter of having the richest teams, the Yankees, the Dodgers, et cetera, abiding by a payroll, but also having the teams like the Twins, like Pittsburgh, like Miami, having to raise their payroll so you're not pocketing basically that money, looking at it that way, that you have to spend X amount of dollars to improve your team. And I don't know where Leopold stands in all this and what his motivation is to get involved in this stuff, but it's interesting that his name did pop up in this, and then obviously
could be just an investment.
Well, it might be, and it's still. I don't remember too many sports franchises that end up being bad investments. But,
correct.
But I think there might be ulterior motives. I don't know unless Craig would be willing to talk about it. But I think baseball.
What does Karn think? She would know.
She actually had dinner with her counterpart from the Twins.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't hear about any of this.
Of course you didn't.
That's a diabolical laugh. But what was I saying? No, I lost my train of thought. Thank you. I don't know. I think the labor situation is going to be fascinating, as it'll come up in lots of discussions after this as the season kicks off. And I start looking at that Twins starting lineup. I'm starting to like this team.
You like the Bell guy too at first base and DH, don't you?
He's a horrible first baseman.
It's all right.
This is his eighth team in 8 years. Half first base glove will travel.
How you've changed. If this was 10 years ago, you would have been saying, this is a good move for this club. This is a good
move for the team. I think he's going to add a lot of power to a team that needs power.
Well, maybe he will.
20, he might. Yeah, he might hit 20 home runs. Why do you have to be
so negative when it comes to the Twins?
I don't know what's happened to me. I don't know. But I know I looked at that potential starting lineup.
Is it Josh Bell? Is that his name?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's such a perfect Twins type player, that we've seen throughout the years, that they signed in the offseason. They're one signing this offseason. Oh my. At least he doesn't have to, he's renting, he's not buying. I guarantee you that.
Guaranteed $7 million. That's huge
not bad.
That's a huge contract.
Well, it's not
from the Twins. I mean, I'm talking
it is
from the Twins. I mean,
it's not chump change. Yeah. So, I saw that. I don't know what else to say about it other than the fact that Pohlads are shuffling the deck, and the Pohlad name continues to be prominently mentioned, and they're not going away. And it's just a different brother, a different relative, and from the Carl Pohlad empire from many, many years ago.
Here's what Randball wrote.
What do you say?
Bell has a chance to succeed.
Well, of course
he's a durable 33-year-old switch hitter, should bring credibility to the middle of the Twins lineup while garnering plenty of playing time. He surged in the back half of last season.
That's what they saw.
And so you, of course, are glass half empty guy. Randball's glass half full, like me.
Like you.
This is a great move for this club. This could be the difference.
It's a perfect move for the Twins. It's what they do best. And I wish him all the success. I hope he hits.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
My prediction, my Nostradamus, Josh Bell will win MVP.
For the Twins? No, for the league?
For the American League.
Okay.
He's going to be that good. Yeah. He's a difference maker, Mark.
He is a difference maker.
He'll be traded by August then, right?
Wait, hold on. First this, and then...
This is the year we got new I love the new Pohlad that's running it, even though I know nothing about him, but he can't be any worse than Joe.
We call him Tommy Boy. Is what we call
Tommy Boy. Yeah, they made a funny movie about that.
Yep, Tommy Boy.
Sure did.
So, we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's do this. Let's take our final break, and then there's a couple of other items I think that are worth getting into.
Purple to talk about.
Yeah, well, some controversial.
Oh.
Yeah, I got some controversial Vikings
I did not know that.
Material to talk about. So we'll do that on the other side of the break. It's Mark Rosen, Tenneby and Common here on The Fan.
Wolves. Minnesota, the state of hockey, hosts the world this winter. The 2026 IIHF World Juniors bring the best young talent from across the globe to our backyard. Be part of the celebration. Get your tickets now at mnsportsandevents.org.
Pass. I'm Comedies Tenneby. Mark Rosen is the final segment of the day. Today, head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, addressed the media today during his mandatory midweek news conference. Talked a little bit about the Giants game. He also mentioned he added to the surgery list Jay Metellus. Jay Grenard was already...
Josh Metellus,
Jay. Well,
you just call him Jay.
Jay Metellus. J. Metellus.
I got it. You guys have that kind of
Jay.
relationship.
Jonathan Grenard is Jay Grenard.
Right.
They both have shoulder issues, so they're going to end their seasons now and have a shoulder surgery. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz basically has a fractured shoulder socket, a separated shoulder, and other maladies, and they tell him, here's what you need to do. Just rub a little Robitussin on it and eat some dirt and go out there and play. Isn't that funny how that is? He basically became the sacrificial lamb for the Minnesota Vikings. Josh, sacrificial lamb Wentz.
I saw him at the Vikings Christmas party week and a half.
You did?
Still had his arm in a sling. And
Tim, did you get that invitation to the Vikings Christmas party?
Must have missed that one.
Yeah.
If your spouse works.
Well, I'm an extended family member.
You are?
So is Tenneby. PA is.
I didn't see PA there. Anyway, I saw Carson Wentz there, and he had his arm still in a sling. I didn't talk to him. I didn't want to.
Did you stare at him?
No.
Did you ogle him?
I did not ogle him.
Did you ogle him a little bit?
Ogle. I had not been to the what used to be Camp. Snoopy's now Nickelodeon Universe in a very long time. And right? Why would I? I mean, my son's coming to town next week for his birthday. And
are you going to take him there and go on the roller coaster?
No, but it's hard not to have your own personal memories.
Do you have some there?
Oh, yeah.
Like
we actually did it when the Mall of America opened up. I was with Channel 4, and we did a special, maybe an hour show, and I had the tux and the whole thing about opening the Mall of America.
Really?
And I think I don't know I remember wearing a tux and tennis shoes. That was a cool thing to do at the time. It still is. I can't remember who my co-host was, but and a lot of people were predicting. No, Amelia wasn't even there yet.
Pat Miles.
At the station. It may have been Pat. It's possible it was Pat, but people were predicting it's doom and gloom. Even when it opened, like this isn't going to work. Now, there have been stores. Obviously, we know how the Mall of America is all about. There have been stores that even, I think, some of the standard bearers have closed. But for the most part, I mean, you go there and it's still, especially this time of year, it's packed. I mean, people, as much shopping as people do online, and we all do that. Not all, but a lot of us do. The stores are doing quite well. So, I mean, here we are all those years later. So, I remember going.
I think it was you and Ernie Pyle.
Ernie Pyle?
Yeah. You familiar with Ernie?
The war guy?
Yeah. Wasn't it you and Ernie Pyle?
I don't think it was Ernie. It was a female. I remember that.
How about Edward R. Murrow? Was it you and Edward R.?
No, he was long gone. It was a woman.
Maybe it was Margaret Bork White.
I think it was.
Or could it have been Martha Gellhorn?
Maybe been Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
But it's survived quite. Yeah. So I did. Honestly, I got to tell you, I did get a little sentimental walking around, and they have this ride now. I used to take my kid on
the log chute.
No, they still have that. They have it's called Fly Across America, I think it is, and you sit in one of those seats. It's like a Disney thing, and it's mind blowing. I mean, you fly across the country. And you feel like when you go over the mountains, you get a mist in your face and all that stuff, and you fly, and it's it's all the 3D. She's in 3D. And
Raquel Welch.
Yeah. Raquel was not in that, but it was. I think for even old folks like me and the kiddos, they liked it. It was pretty cool. So we did that.
I have when you would go down the log chute, right? There's a camera that takes you picture it when you get to the bottom, and then you can get that picture afterwards. They'll even put it on like a plastic bag tag keychain. So Deuce had done it before. Baby brother Peter had. Now this is when they're like 6 and 4, right? Mm-hmm. Something like 6, 7. And I still have the picture.
No kidding.
I wear it. I used to keep it on my golf bag, like how you have your club tag on there, whatever club you belong to, you have your name on it, stuff like that, a logo of the club. But then it fell off once I didn't want to lose it, so I just have it keep it in a safe spot. Because the best part is it's Pete in the front and Deuce in the back, and Deuce has done it before. He's got a big wide-eyed look with a smile on his face. He's excited. Cool. Pete's got a look of terror on his face as he's gripped to the end. So it's two completely different reactions.
That's funny.
And it's one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah. Well, you get hit by that water. Yeah. Every time you did it, you forget that. I used to do the Mystery Mine Ride. That was my...
the Mystery Mine Ride?
Yeah, that was the big one. Now it's just Fly Across America bit. Anyway, it was... you were mentioning Carson Wentz, and we got off topic, but I did see him that night, along with pretty much the entire team that was there.
So... Team obviously, and no team is at full strength right now, but losing a couple of key players to the defense. The one thing that I found interesting was I actually thought it was I was wondering if he was talking about the same version of the Giants. I thought he was talking about the Michael Strahan Giants because
Super Bowl Giants.
The way he talked about the Giants was like we're going to have our hands full. It's like they've won 2 games. They were an awful football team. Now we're not much better, but we're better. I would hope we would go to New York and impose our will on this club and give JJ another opportunity to grow and learn in the game and take another step toward hopefully being the long-term franchise quarterback of the soon-to-be Big World champion Minnesota Vikings.
The curiosity factor is still there, not necessarily nationally with all the other more important games that are going on this weekend. And whether or not the Lions game on Christmas Day and in particular the Packer game on January 4th will, if it's still going to be January 4th, probably will be Sunday, how much meaning it'll have for those teams.
Well, for the Lions, here's where it will have meaning. They need to go to their easiest way to the playoffs is they need to run the table, go 3-0. They need either the Packers or the Bears to go 1-2 or worse.
Right.
Because one of them is going to win a game this weekend. It's going to be Chicago against Green Bay.
A Saturday night game.
Right. And so one of them is going to win. Where it doesn't look too bad for Detroit is that Chicago also has to play San Francisco, and then Detroit gets them the last game. So if Chicago goes 1-1 over the next 2 weeks and Detroit goes 2-0, that last playoff spot will be determined by Chicago and Detroit in that last game of the season. If Green Bay were to go 1-2 and Detroit goes 3-0, they would supplant Green Bay as that last spot, but they have to go 3-0. Green Bay's schedule, Bears this week, then they host the Ravens, and you never know what to get out of the Ravens.
That's the truth.
And then, of course, the final game of the season is against Minnesota.
Well, the schedule makers know what they're doing with pretty much all these, divisional opponents waiting till the end, and that's the way it should be. I mean, your best games should be at the end of December and early January. And so for the Vikings, it is a matter, and you hear KOC, and it doesn't matter about the draft pick right now. They want to win football games, and McCarthy wants to keep getting better. This is important as we hit towards really more meaningful games for their opponents, but also for Minnesota. And I agree with that. I heard KOC. I'm thinking, I had to look up the Giants' record. They're 2-12. I mean, and I know they have they have some individual, they have the dart character now at quarterback who's kind of fun to watch. He darts around, he runs around, and he's. Oh,
I saw what you did there. He darts around.
Yeah, I did that. But, and the Vikings are 3-point favorites. I was just looking this up, but they have this matchup, predictor, and the Giants are 55% to win the game. The Vikings 44%. I'm going, wait, why are the Vikings favored? And it's gone up. They were started, I think that it opened up at 1.5. Now they're favored by 3. I know we have spread swing tomorrow.
They're a better team.
They should be, yeah. I mean, they just won at Dallas last week. I don't know what.
Well, Dallas is terrible.
No, they're not terrible, but they still had playoff hopes last week.
It doesn't matter, but there's a reason they had playoff hopes.
I know.
They were a team in desperation because they're
not a great defensive team, but they were putting up a lot of points.
Look at their schedule. They had 2 nice wins that made people think they were better, and then they're
Dallas.
Yeah, they're Dallas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a wet blanket. I'd like to see the Vikings play well. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see JJ grow in the next 3 games, and I'd rather they lose 3 games and get a better draft pick. I just would. I know the team. I know the team doesn't want to, and I get that. You always want to win, no guy. And I'm not suggesting they tank. I'm not saying I want them to tank. I just think playing competitive games that are exciting. Lose on a field goal at the end. But guess what? Then all of a sudden, going from having the 16th pick overall, whatever. Now, all of a sudden, we go to the 12th or the 9th. And I can tell you right now, I know there's not a ton of difference. You can get a star at 9 or 16 or a bust at either one. But the further you are up in the draft, I think just the better is.
Well, unlike a year ago when the Vikings lost, the most meaningful game against the Lions, which was for the number 1 seed, and you have to remind yourself they were in that position just a year ago. That people sort of as we get past the playoffs and eventually the big game, and then we start talking about the draft already. You don't really go, you don't talk too much about the game against the Giants, whether they win or lose this weekend. If they lose the game, you're going to go, well, it turned out it wasn't a bad thing for the Vikings because now they got as you said, a higher draft pick. But at the time when you're watching the game, I still think the high percentage of Viking fans, I would assume, want them to win.
They do?
I don't know. I'm asking a legitimate question. I don't know how to throw out a poll about that, but.
Well, I think those do, yeah.
I think they do. It's hard to.
I think you can still show growth, and the quarterback can be brilliant.
Oh, you can.
You lose by a field goal.
You sure can.
That's okay by me. I'm sorry.
And I understand that because I think you feel that. I felt that way going into the Dallas game. I was so kind of shrugged my shoulders about that. All I kept saying to I said on the air a bunch of times too, just don't embarrass yourself and play better football because the Vikings have embarrassed themselves too many times on national television and primetime games. And here we are, the first series, JJ gets a pass batted up in the air and they intercept it and they go in and score. I'm thinking, oh boy. And then we all know what happened. They came back and did it. But
I'm going to have to try to explain this to Jeff and Monticello. I didn't think it needed an explanation because Harry did a good job. He goes, last time I checked, hoping to lose the last 3 games and tanking are basically the same thing. No, tanking is losing intentionally. That's what tanking is. The definition of tanking is losing games intentionally to improve your draft lot. I'm not asking the Vikings to tank. I want the Vikings and the Giants to be in a shootout, a great game.
Yeah.
And I want McCarthy to look really, really good. I want him to have a great quarterback rating. But the Giants squeak one out with a field goal at the very end, and then the same thing the following week and the week after that. That's not tanking. That's being a fan that understands the further you are with the draft.
I just think, and I'm not discounting the Lions game because I think that's going to be a lot of fun on Christmas Day. Obviously very festive for lots of reasons, and in particular because Snoop is performing at halftime. But I think the Packer game here on the 4th of January, as they say, throw the records out the window. I really do believe from a fan's perspective, because there's going to be tons of Packer fans here, especially if the game means something to them. And the Vikings, that's going to be, should be a very, very good football game. The Packers have to, they're licking their wounds right now because he's losing Micah Parsons and, a few other bodies that they have to deal with. But I don't think anyone that's going to watch that game is going to sit there and go, God, I really hope Green Bay, if you're a Viking fan, I would rather have the Vikings lose this game. I think most people want always to beat Green Bay.
It's because they're petty. Here's what I said.
All right.
Normally, I'd agree with Common and want to lose out, but man, it would be so fun to play spoiler against Detroit Green Bay.
Well,
all right, if that's important to you, because what does that mean?
Well,
all right. So you play spoiler.
And I think a lot of people will fire back going, look, have you looked at the Vikings drafts lately? They really haven't hit a home run in a lot of them. So it doesn't, it's a rhetorical question. We don't know the answer to it.
Well, my sources tell me, maybe you can confirm or deny because you're closer to it than I am, but.
What's that?
Part of, I've heard the rumor that KOC, part of his.
Bonus?
Well, no, his agreement.
Oh.
To sign the extension was he wants to have a bit more say in personnel decisions. Well, than I heard. So in other words, if everybody wants to blame Kwesi and worry about him conducting the next draft, I think KOC is going to have more to say this year than he did in the past. I think I've had this discussion for years. How much say does the general manager? How much does a coach? I know at the end of the day, the general manager makes the selections, but I just can't believe that a general manager walks up and he's all by himself in the war room and he listens to what the other guy says and doesn't and all of a sudden goes, well, that's great, but guess who I'm taking? I don't think it works that way.
Well, pretty much all that, is put to bed before the draft. They work all off season with their scouting department. All teams do. And they're putting the board together. So when you put your board together, you pretty much stick to what you have up there. Obviously some of the players they know are going to be gone before they get to their guy. Or guys. Last year, Donovan, as it turned out, Donovan Jackson was a terrific draft pick. He's played really well for a rookie in the offensive lineman. But I think all that stuff is a cooperative effort going into it. So the board is set. So I don't know how many variations when push comes to shove and you're on the clock and say, all of a sudden you go, well, you know what? I'm changing my mind. We don't want to take this guy at number 11. We're going to take somebody else. It's like, wait a minute. We just spent 3 months talking about this and setting up our draft board. I don't think they're going to change at that point. So I think that's more of a, Kwesi, KOC, the guys who are scouting right now, all the colleges as we hit to the bowl season, that they know what they want to go after. And then they have free agency. So it'll be a busy offseason for Rob Brzezinski dealing with all the contracts, but it's not something he hasn't done before. And time again, they always manage to work the salary cap pretty effectively.
He gets the salary. He's done a nice job, I think, overall.
Yeah, he's pretty sharp at what he does. Yeah.
How well do you know him? Do you see him often? Was he at the Vikings Christmas party?
I think he was. I didn't see him, but he was. I know Rob very well. Yeah, he says.
Give me a bell.
Well, yeah, I know most of the people over there in the front office.
You know Rob Brzezinski. Do you know Zbigniew Brzezinski? No. What was that guy from Russia?
Oh, Russia?
Yeah, do you know him?
I do not.
He was another Brzezinski, I think.
Even though I have close ties with Russian, I
wasn't there a Brzezinski in Russia?
Brezhnev. You talking about the prime minister, the president?
Zbigniew Brzezinski.
No, it starts with a B. Brezhnev. Is that his name? How you pronounce his name?
I don't know. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. I don't want to spell his name.
Russian history for 300, please.
Zbigniew. I can't know. I don't know how to spell his name. Oh, now it's going to bother me.
Well,
these are the things that keep me up at night. Russian leader, guys. But I think he was Soviet Union. Hold on.
Well, that's
USSR.
You're
Hold
funny.
on. You guys talk about other stuff. Maybe you guys talk while I look this up. I got to look it up.
Well, the Wolves are home tonight against
they are.
Memphis. Yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see if Ant's returning tonight. I haven't seen an official report from anyone from the Wolves yet to say if he's in or out. It's a little early yet to say that, but he's got that foot thing, and I think I get the feeling he is because the Wolves. I don't know. I just pay attention to the point spreads only because of sometimes of injured players. The Wolves went up to 8.5 points favorites, so that to me says that against the Grizz. I remember when the Grizz were just on the verge of being like. I don't want to say like OKC-like, but they were like, man, this team is really going to be good for years and years and years with John Morant. And now, they're okay. They're 12-14, but they don't have anywhere near the personnel that they had before, or the opportunity to be as good as they used to be. But then tomorrow night we got the football game. It's already Thursday. The Rams and Seahawks tomorrow, but the Grizz are home tonight against the Wolves, and then as I mentioned, they get the next year.
Zbigniew Brzezinski.
Yeah, how do you spell it? B-R-Y something or other?
Political scientist and former national security advisor of the United States. So he wasn't with Russia, he was with us.
Oh, he's one of us.
How was I to know he was with the Russians too? Send lawyers, guns, and money. His nickname was Zbig. He was a Polish-American diplomat and political scientist. He served as a counselor to Lyndon Baines Johnson from 66 to 68. And he was Jimmy Carter's national security advisor from 77
sure. I remember what he looked like.
He's right there.
There he is.
Zbigniew. He was Polish.
Yeah.
So he wasn't Russian.
He was a good goalie,
and he wasn't with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So, I had him defecting to the Soviet Union. History really wasn't my best class.
What was?
Truancy. I was very good at truancy. I didn't spend a lot of time in class. That's probably obvious.
So hang out at a local McDonald's or something when you skip school? Or?
No.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No,
you were above that.
No, it's McDonald's.
Weight class.
We were consuming a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screamers and laughers. Wow. Did you know there's nothing more depraved than a man in the depths of an ether binge?
I've heard that. Yeah.
So, what was I going to say about, the Knickerbockers?
Yes.
Well, here's the other thing. I saw, it's that overreaction stuff. And look, I'm as guilty as the next guy because we do it here, but I saw another headline. It was talking about their first trophy since 73. It also said they make a statement with that game about to the East. It's like, well, it's one game.
No,
I mean, and again, that's a nice win. Because San Antonio is a pretty good club, and we know that. But they were making it seem like, well, now the rest of the league better take notice because the Knickerbockers are serious and they're for real. We already know the Knickerbockers are a very good
team. Yes.
They went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Right. And they're equally as good, if not better, this year. And they're a very talented team. I wouldn't put too much stock in
one game in the
it's a money grab, like I said. And that's why you could tell those guys were putting a little extra into it last night because
Zabig's daughter, Micah, is on the morning. Is on Morning Joe.
Yeah, Morning Joe.
Morning Joe.
She married.
That's her daughter.
Married her partner. Yeah.
Somebody else said Leonid Brezhnev. That's
what we were thinking.
That's a different.
That's the Russian leader.
He was the one that was pounding his shoe on Nikita Khrushchev's head, trying to knock some sense into him. And he got 7 stitches in the back of his head, just like you.
I know, and I came to work.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back.
I'm so happy.
You'll be here tomorrow at 1:30 for Spread Swing.
I can't wait. I had a good week.
We'll see you tomorrow. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We're back tomorrow, 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket and Brett Blakemore. They're next. Right here on The Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.